And now you can hear me. I didn't mute it on purpose. I don't know,
okay.
So you should be able to hear us now. YouTuber life. Sometimes it's like that. Joseph and I, you couldn't even see us. Like, we're scrambling, like, what could it be? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so her computer is a pain in the butt to connect to the internet with a hardwire because it doesn't have an Ethernet port. And its Wi-Fi is spotty. And it's not supposed to be, but so we have to convert Ethernet to a USB-C Thunderbolt to be able to connect it to,
and tech stuff. Ooh, Summer K says, aloha, Summer. That's so fun. I've never been to Hawaii, so I've never gotten to say that to anyone before.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we lost all the questions that were on the other one because we had to delete it to be able to start the new live stream.
So please ask your questions again because we didn't see them. So I'll go just briefly into the main question that we've been getting the most right now, which is why no one helped me clean when I did the whole house clean with me. And so part of it is they were all doing other things. So while I was cleaning, Joseph and Alexis were watching the baby, answering YouTube comments, editing, grocery shopping, cooking. So they were doing tons of other stuff. Joseph was switching over the laundry, but also part of the cleaning part of the video was me cleaning. And so that was the video that I was making, a video of me cleaning the house. That doesn't mean that that is what I do on a regular basis or that is our overall cleaning routine. It just means on that day, at that time, for whatever reason, it was just me cleaning the house. But we definitely share responsibilities in the house. All of us, less so Reeves. He's more of a, like, he'll tear the house apart and we put it back together kind of thing. I mean, we do try to get him to...
I mean, he'll clean a little bit, but like beyond picking up his toys, he likes to wipe things down. He'll wipe stuff. He'll take a rag and wipe cabinets.
Yeah, so if he sees us cleaning, then he'll like, oh, well, I've got to help clean too. So Summer says that we've got to come to Hawaii and do a workshop. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Not just because I have always wanted to visit Hawaii, like my whole life, but because Joseph and I have been talking about this idea of doing workshops. And in particular...
So I want to buy like a retreat in Vermont that, has like a guest house and then a main house that has like, I don't know, like 10 different rooms that people can stay, that has trails and a little lake. And then people can come up and then get away from the world, all this hustle and bustle of the cities and get back to nature. And so I want to do that. But then it's going to be cold, and Tasha hates the cold.
Yeah, he just wants it in Vermont so that he has a reason to not move further south, which is what I want.
Because it's so hot. It's only going to get worse.
Okay, can we do a video on retirement strategies, types of retirement accounts to use? We have done that video. We've done several videos like that so you should look at our Investing 101 series, and maybe we should have called it Retirement 101. So people...
That's completely different. No. Investing in retirement, I mean...
No, because we did how to invest in your 20s, and that's where we talked about the different retirement accounts, I feel like. Now I'm going to need to look.
Well, maybe. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking more about that. Let's see. So
yeah, I think we should probably, because we have to sit here and have a discussion about whether or not we've actually really did a deep dive into that topic. That means we need to go ahead and make that video. So thank you for that suggestion.
Oh, Reeves is almost 3.
Yes, someone answered that. Reeves will be 3 in February. Do the kids ever hang on to dad's legs as he walks? Yes, they both do. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to move Reeves than it is to move Alexis because they have, I don't know, a 90-pound difference. So one day Reeves will catch up.
Yeah, so Rebecca says, I like the divide and conquer method you use for cleaning. Everyone does what they have to do to make things work. So absolutely, especially So it used to be that we had very designated responsibilities. This was before Reeves, when it was just me, Joseph, and Alexis. And this was before YouTube, and our lives were very regular. We had specific things that we did, and we actually made chores into a game. I called it the Chore Games, and it was so much fun.
It was. So we got a board and put every single chore on a little piece of paper and the approximate time that it was supposed to take. And then we divvied it up so where we all had the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would all try to do the chores and be the first to finish.
And so the first to finish got to choose, what was it, dinner, what we were eating for dinner. And I think it was a movie we were going to watch. And then the second, and they didn't have to cook dinner or the dessert. Second place got to choose the dessert. And then third place had to help second place cook and clean up afterwards. So that made us get our chores done faster. And we checked each other after we were done doing the chores to make sure we had done everything properly and thoroughly. But it also gave us something to look forward to because we would have dinner and a movie and dessert together as a family at the end of the day. So that was really fun. But then we had Reeves, and that added a different element to our family. And of course, we moved to this area. We've switched jobs a lot. We've started YouTube. We've taken on additional projects like working with the Financial Diet and working with Intuit and working with the other brands that partner with us to help us support our channel. And so what that means is from week to week, our lives vary so much that we have to do this sort of ad hoc. Each person picks up the slack wherever they see it happening, as we try to figure out a way to create a routine in what is now a very random life outside of our work. Work is like the one stable thing because those hours are set. It's that our afterlife that is kind of hectic.
Yeah, as much as we would like to plan everything out perfectly in advance and say, okay, well, this is exactly when we're going to do every little thing, we end up having a lot more fluid schedules than I think we would ultimately like to have, but that's just kind of the nature of the YouTube business that we're running. It really affects when and what we can do from time to time. So which question are you
on? Does Alexis get allowance? You answer that while I hide.
Oh, so Alexis does not get allowance. And she kind of has in the past. But
it's been years though.
Yeah. So the way when she first started doing chores, it's like she had set chores that were just her being a participant in the family. And so families all share responsibilities. So that was her responsibility, whatever it was. And probably just cleaning her room and her bathroom to start. Mm-hmm. And then additional chores she would then be paid for. And so that was the first step. And now we've gone pretty far, a completely different scenario where now we try to treat her as like an independent money earning unit. And so she has her own budget and now she has set chores, but it's like we're paying her to do a specific job. Yeah, she still has family member chores. Sorry.
Yeah, so her pay is related to the hours where she watches Reeves beyond what is normal sisterly stuff. So it's normal to watch your kid brother, here or there throughout the day. But if we need her to watch, and so she actually watches Reeves for a set period of time every day, and that period of time is paid. So we pay her for that, but just like we would a sitter. And it's not always her. Sometimes we also hire someone, the neighbor's daughter to come over and watch Reeves sometimes if Alexis has schoolwork she needs to do. But with that money, we expect her to do things like buy her clothing. If she wants to buy lunch at school, she has to use her money for that, buying presents.
I mean, so it's, in theory, at least, it's everything short of her education and medical care and food. Like those are the things we pick mm-hmm. up. Everything else she runs like her own finances, and that's how it's supposed mm-hmm. to work out. So yeah, her clothes, like all that kind of stuff. we do those basic 3 things, and then she's able to cover everything else. And so obviously we're having to make sure that we end up paying her enough that she's capable to do that. But then she's in charge of managing that she doesn't spend it all on games on her phone, which she does play, and she does pay for them. So,
and she realized it was a problem when she started doing that. But she also has a budget. And I think the next step that we're going to move towards, she also knows how much college costs, how much each class costs, how much her books cost. But the next step that we are going to start doing is, well, so she's 17, she's on the verge of 18. And so we really want to get her involved in the day-to-day finances of our actual household, in part because, well, she's almost an adult, and so she should be able to handle that. But also, if something happened to me or Joseph, we want her to know exactly what's going on with the estate, because it will be a fairly sizable estate. Because imagine, once Joseph and I die, our student loans disappear with us. So what that does is increase our net worth all of a sudden by $400,000.
And then she gets the checks from the insurance companies.
So it would be over $2 million estate that would go to Alexis and Reeves. And so we're going to do a video about what would happen to us if we died. And we do have, and we've a named executor and all of that, but we want her to be empowered to handle the estate and handle these decisions, both for herself and for Reeves. If she decided she was 18 and she wanted to have him with her instead of her going off to college and him going with the guardians that we've designated for him. So we definitely want to get her deeper involved into our finances and the household finances generally.
Yep. Somebody had a quick question about opening up a savings account without any fee. There are a bunch of different banks and credit unions that offer no fee savings and checking accounts. So, I mean,
you can name a couple that we use or have used.
Ally.
We did Capital One. What is it? 360?
Yeah.
360. We did that
Capital
for a while.
360.
I'm a veteran, so I used USAA and Navy Federal, and I've been with them for almost 2 decades now because I'm getting old.
Yeah. So those are ones I know for a fact. I'm not sure if we've used some other banks in the past.
Discover, I think Discover might have. Discover Bank.
I don't know.
I know that they had pretty good rates on their savings accounts. And so I feel like their savings account had to also be low fee. But so that's a couple, but there are lots of them out there. I mean, or at least there's a good amount, more than just a handful of banks out there that all you have to do is Google it. I'm sure there's so many good articles out there. We've just been with the same banks for a long time that we've never, because they don't charge any fees. So there's no real incentive for us to switch. Not much of our savings is kept in an actual savings account. Our emergency fund is in CDs. And then most of our other money is locked up in tax advantaged accounts that are with, that are scattered across multiple financial institutions, because it's about where the retirement accounts are for our employer. So we haven't looked into it recently. That was like a long way of saying that.
Okay. Favorite productivity app? Go.
My favorite. So let's see. So I like Asana. Asana really helps us manage our YouTube channel because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So that's our YouTube one. I mean, other than that, we block our time and just
Google
like using
Calendar.
Google. Yeah.
For Google Calendar keeps our whole family on top of stuff. And I'm going to be talking about this in an upcoming video that we did in partnership with Chromebooks. But we are heavily, as a family and, One Big Happy Life as a business, invested in the Google ecosystem. And with calendars, we all have shared calendars. And so when we need to schedule things, we invite each other to things that we all need to be at. And so we're all on the same page, and then we can look at each other's calendars to see what we're doing on any given day. So our calendars. Oh, and someone asked, do we time block? Yes, we do. Yeah. I do a lot.
Yeah. Do our bosses or coworkers watch our videos? So I would say sometimes, but not with any habit. Several people at my work know that I have a YouTube channel, but most of them have absolutely like they're not really into watching stuff on YouTube, and so they don't keep up with the channel or anything like that. But we of course make videos knowing that anybody can be watching them, so it's not like we're bothered by that or would be surprised. I think we still get excited. We get excited whenever we see people that we run into that recognize us.
Yes, like when we meet strangers, we saw someone on Carnival when we were on our cruise. They were like, "Oh my God, I watch you on YouTube," and we're like, "Thank you." But they were really nice in that, like it was clear that they just wanted to say hello, but not, like spend too much time talking to us because we were on vacation and they were on vacation. So they're like, "We're just all gonna be on vacation and chill." So that was fun.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, why don't you look that? What is ESOP? I don't know what it is. But do you want to look it up?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, do you listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers? I do not.
So I don't listen to that much music generally, but sometimes I will. It varies, but I'm kind of a classic rock kind of person.
Yeah, he's like an old man. I don't even.
Okay, so I'm gonna look it up. You have to look at something else.
Oh, you
Okay.
look it up on that. Do we live in the DMV area? Yes, we do. We live in Maryland, DC suburbs is what I call it. Do we have any advice for single parents on how you can save? And do we have any advice on life insurance? So I've been a single parent twice in my life, when Alexis was first born, and then after I divorced my first husband. And so I was just when I had a lot less money, which is when I was a single parent the first time around, I budgeted down to the penny. Like I had a ledger book that anytime I would spend anything, and I didn't use cash, I used my credit card. Anytime I would do anything with my credit card or spend anything, I kept a running balance in a book with me, in addition to my regular budget, so that I was keeping track of things and just staying on top of my budget so that I wasn't overspending. But I definitely looked for ways to save on the biggest ticket items. So to save on my housing costs, it was actually cheaper for me to buy a house where I live than to keep renting. So I ended up buying a house. Just ways to cut back on your biggest expenses, but it all depends on your particular budget. But I would say the biggest advice that I followed to help me be able to save more is to prioritize increasing my skills so that I can make more money. I've never been about frugalizing my way to financial freedom. I've always been about increasing my earnings to make it easier for me to reach financial freedom. And that was regardless of whether I was with a partner or by myself. So that's my biggest advice to single parents. Do what you need to do to get yourself in a position where you can provide for your family and make more money. And so for me, that meant initially I was working full time because I was still in the Marines. Alexis was a baby. And I would go to community college classes online at night so that I could get my associate's degree. So that's what I personally did.
Okay, so thanks, Summer, for telling us what the acronym was. So the problem, so there are pros and cons. So you might be able to use that program to increase your wealth. So we're talking about an employee stock ownership plan where the company that you work for is giving you stock, sometimes for free. So you could get a lot of value there really quickly, but there's a huge risk with that. And it's happened a lot of times. And it can be catastrophic where people hold only one stock in their retirement plan, including the companies that they work for. And then what if that company goes bankrupt, which has happened to numerous airlines, car manufacturers. Like it can happen to any company. It doesn't matter how big it is at the time. it can all turn around and then be
Mhm.
worthless.
Yeah, and it's especially problematic if you're getting those stocks in lieu of monetary compensation. That makes it more likely that you're not investing in other things too. So,
Yeah, so it could be a piece of your overall retirement portfolio, and that's great. But don't let it be the one thing, because you do not want to have all your eggs in one basket.
yeah, I've never worked for an employer that offered that. So, have you? No.
Nope.
So someone asked, what do we admire most about each other? What is it, Kylie? Did I get that? You scrolled too fast. I saw a K and a Y.
Ha.
Where did it go?
Huh?
What did you do? Yeah, Kylie. Yes. Do you want to go first? What do you?
She's wicked smart.
That's what you admire most?
That's what I'm gonna go with. So the extension of that is that things like it's really entertaining. That's what it is.
Really entertaining.
Because so that means it's like, so she can pick up things that really quickly, and so we end up doing a lot of different stuff, and so that's really what it is.
So for me, it's definitely going to be two parts. The first is also that Joseph is really smart. Because
no, see, she can't do that.
No, but it's true. Okay, because, and I'm also going to say that I've reached the point in my life where I believe that it's where I am comfortable saying positive things about myself and being okay accepting the good things about myself, especially as a woman, because I feel like we are prone to being like demure and trying to not toot our own horns. So I know that I am very smart. And so being with someone that can go toe to toe with me on everything and teach me new things keeps life really interesting and makes our relationship so much fun and challenging and rewarding. So definitely that he's smart, but also that he is really capable. Like I can trust him. With my first marriage, and we haven't talked about our divorces, but I think at some point we want to, because we think it's important to dialogue about those things and not have it be this thing that's kind of tucked in a corner somewhere. But,
I was shaking my head when you said
I know. But with my first husband, I always wondered what would happen if I died. I was scared. I'm like, because I knew that things would fall apart the minute I died, because he couldn't keep up with anything. And so with Joseph, I don't have to worry about that. Joseph already has the Christmas presents bought. Like he can cook, he can clean.
Which is clearly the most important thing that
like
you need
for the
to
kids.
do.
Like he's already bought the kids Christmas presents. So he's not the home decor person. Okay. Like that's probably your weak spot. But he can keep the house up. He can do everything. And so it's amazing to have a true partner. So that's probably the thing that I most admire that's the overarching thing. He is a true partner in every aspect of it. And I wish I had realized, and that people talk to us more about what to look for in the person that we're going to be with. Because yes, he's incredibly good looking. Yes, we, enjoy being together, but beyond that, just to have that sort of peace of mind and happiness and that general partnership and know that I can trust him and rely on him to take care of everything, even if I was gone, is amazing.
That was awfully nice.
He's also very modest, which is nice. No, yeah.
Ashley says that she loves her channel.
Thank you.
And that she has a bunch of friends who are in debt, who do the debt-free / Dave Ramsey, but it doesn't really work for her. It's like there are pros and cons to basically any generic financial advice. And that's why on our channel, we talk about crunching the numbers so much, because what works perfectly for any one person is not going to be the cookie cutter approach for everybody. And so that's the danger. And I think you're seeing that.
Also, what worked 10, 15, 20 years ago may not be what works best now, because a lot has changed in the past 20 years. Interest rates on real estate are a lot lower. There are a lot more homeownership programs out there that make homeownership a more realistic possibility for people. Also, wages have stagnated. That's a problem. And then we have student loans. But student loans are a whole brand new type of debt, particularly federal student loans. And when it comes to Dave Ramsey, yes, his baby steps, if you follow them, you generally can't go wrong, but they may not be the most optimal position for way for you to structure your finances. And he definitely misses out on a lot of important nuance when it comes to student loans, because that is a newer financial product. And Dave Ramsey is a finance guru, but he's not a finance expert. And so he just, when it comes to the laws and the legal ramifications of student loans and the protections that are in place, he really glosses over those and treats them as if they were all like all other types of debt. But federal loans are very, very different. And so we're actually going to be, we've already kind of outlined it, but we're going to be doing a video on public service loan forgiveness where we talk about federal student loans. And then we also talk about why right now public service loan forgiveness has such a low approval rate. So stay tuned for that.
Another huge thing to think about in terms of like the retirement advice that existed, probably even 10 years ago, the financial investment vehicles are completely different now. And so back in the 90s, basically all you had was mutual funds. I mean, you can invest in individual stocks and things, but so now that there are exchange traded funds and index funds that have super low fees, giving the same generic, oh, you need to buy a mutual fund advice might not be the best anymore. And so you got to constantly be reevaluating everything that you're looking at, all the advice that you're taking in, to make sure that it's as up to date as possible.
What was my most memorable experience in law, or our most memorable experience in law school? What was yours?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
So for me, I grew up in a lower income area in Brooklyn. I certainly never felt poor or anything like that. We were definitely working class. My dad's a mechanic and my mom has held various jobs, including real estate agent, clerical worker, and 911 operator, just kind of throughout the course of her working career. So I never felt poor. I always felt kind of average. And then I went to law school and was working at these big firms where I was around rich people who were talking about vacationing at their, their family islands and things like that. So that was just really interesting. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But the fun part, before Joseph is so sad that he didn't get to participate in that area, that time in my life, because when you're at law firms, you get to do fun things like go to like the Lady Gaga concert or different athletic events and be in like the company box, have the company box seats, various Broadway shows where I didn't pay for. I've eaten at the best restaurants in Manhattan and in Dallas daily and didn't have to pay for any of that. And so that part, just being able to have all of those fun experiences, eat interesting, new, delicious food and shows, that was fun.
Back to law school.
Okay, so that's me. That was fun.
Being around rich people?
No, having a lot of experiences that I had never had before. So I had never gone to a Broadway show. I had never gone to a Michelin rated restaurant before. I had never stayed at, say, the W Hotel and things like that. I mean,
yeah, so I still haven't done that stuff.
You never stayed at the W?
No.
Oh, that's surprising.
Why?
Because you always, so when we travel for work, I feel like when you travel for work, you look for the good hotel deals, but.
Well, yeah. Well, so the only time that I've stayed at fancy hotels for work, somebody else booked it, like in a big block for a whole bunch of people for a conference. So I stayed at the Mandarin Oriental in DC. That's the fanciest that's like it.
Oh, I stayed at the Four Seasons in Atlanta for a job interview. And when I got there, the Four Seasons had printed out custom stationery for me. That was insane. I got there, like the desk was there and it's like, oh, well, Tasha. And it was the address to the Four Seasons though. I took the stationery, but of course I can never use it because it would just get mailed to the Four Seasons in Atlanta. So
That's so funny. So really, I think the biggest memory that I have is, so I got to study abroad for a summer, and so that was a lot of fun. I was in at Oxford, and then got to take a long weekend over in Dublin, and so that was exciting.
To me, that
spending
sounds
a lot of time.
just as exciting. That sounds amazing. I wish I could have studied abroad. I could have. I wish I had thought to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the downside was the added expense for going over there. It's like it was much more expensive than just taking some summer classes would have been, and so that's, there is that cost of it.
So Tam Hanker asks, can I share my skin routine? My melanin is flawless. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I will say part of it is genetic. Just like Alexis, if you look at her skin, if you've looked at her skin over the past 2 years when she's, typical teenage years, she hasn't had acne. And I didn't have much in the way of acne, and I still don't have much in the way of acne. But now that I wear makeup almost every day because we're filming for YouTube or some other video, I do have to pay more attention to my skin because makeup and the things in makeup I am more prone to breakouts now. So I will be sharing my skincare routine. And it's a work in progress because I went from doing nothing to now having to pay attention to it. Also because I'm getting older,
Okay, Ashley has a question, transitioning from private to public sector.
Oh, can I talk about my transition from private to public sector? Okay, so I was working at a law firm in DC. I was pregnant with Reeves, and it was a public interest law firm, but it was not something that would have qualified for public service loan forgiveness. But I went there because I wanted to pivot my career more in the direction of consumer finance specifically, whereas before I was doing more fair housing with some fair lending work. I wanted to do more fair lending work and learn more about the other. This is not the point. The point is this. So I did that for a little while to gain the experience that I wanted on my resume, knowing that I intended to go back into public service so that I could get public service loan forgiveness. And so basically everything that I've done has been geared at building my resume, building my references so that I have a very, very strong resume. And so I have worked at some of the top places where you can do the kind of work that I do. And so so that made it a lot easier for me to make the transition because very few people can, have the kind of resume that I do now because of the places where I've worked and the kind of work that I have done. And also, yes, in part, now less so because of where I went to law school, because I'm so many years outside of law school now. So that matters less now.
Okay, the last question is...
Wait, someone asked a question that I wanted to answer. What happened with our nanny? So that I did want to answer that. And we may make it separate. It was hard. We thought about making a video so many times. And even now talking about it, I'm still kind of getting upset about it because it hit us really, really hard on a lot of levels. But so I'm going to do the abbreviated version now and we'll do a longer version later. But basically our nanny, we did end up terminating her.
For a number of reasons.
Yes.
But not the largest thing is we knew that Reeves needed to be socialized more. And so we were doing a nanny share with one other younger child. Oh, I need to plug this in. Oops.
Yeah. So we're doing a nanny share with another family, but as Reese was getting older, he just needed more stimulation. And I don't know if you've seen him in any of our videos, but he is quite intelligent, quite precocious, and loves learn. Like he already knew before he was 2, he knew the entire alphabet. He could count to at least to 10. Now he can count to like 30, and he's learning how to read now. And so he needed more. And there were some other reasons why we terminated her, but it was really hard for us. And so she still stayed a part of our lives. She would come over. She considered Reeves to be like a grandchild because she didn't have any. And she was actively involved in our Facebook posts on our personal Facebook pages. And she would still come to our house. We'd see her every single week. She'd come over and just hang out with Reeves and just play with him because she loved him. Not because we were paying her, but because she loved him and she loved our family. So then one Friday she came over, she played with him as usual. And, she said goodbye to us. And then that weekend, she had an aneurysm, and her son found her the next Monday when she didn't show up to work. And then she passed away 2 days later. And so that's what happened to her. That's why she's not a part of our lives anymore.
Yeah. And we were in communication with the family. We tried our best to be able to take Reeves up there, and maybe that would have been bad or good. I don't know. I always had this hope that he would go in there and then she would wake up, but realistically that's not how that works.
Yeah. I mean, we were so hopeful, but she didn't wake up, and it's tough because Reeves still, he's like, well, where is Miss Susie? And we're like, well, she's gone, she died. And he's like, well, can we save her? And so it's really tough. And for me, I had never had someone that had been so much a part of our daily lives. Like, everything about our house reminds us of her.
Yeah, I mean, so she would, toys that are around the house. She would buy
toys that
for
she
Reeves.
Bought for Reeves. Like,
yeah, and it's like it's clear exactly what Reeves meant to her and like how much a part of the family she was. And for
what
so
kills
long,
me is like it wasn't. I really took her for granted. Like, and I didn't realize just how much until she was gone, and our relationship was developing into something different after she was no longer in our employment, and she was like a close family friend at that point. And it's just hard to lose someone that cared about you and is a good person, and so that was tough. Like, it's still upsetting, obviously, because I'm sitting here crying. At some point, I'm gonna have a live where I don't cry. But yeah, let's see if this makeup holds together.
It's doing pretty good. Yeah, so it's still really tough, and so it's been months and months now.
Yeah, it's happened back in August,
and,
I think.
And Reeves will still ask some questions, and so and he still doesn't really understand exactly what happened and what death is.
And we do try to talk to him about her, like, oh, remember Miss Susie would do this and Miss Susie would do that, because we want him to try to retain some memories of her, but he is awfully young. So we don't know. And but thank you all for all of your, kind words. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
but
we've been on a while.
So we've been meaning to make a video about it because it's such an important topic, just making sure to be open to relationships and love from wherever. You never know where those kinds of relationships can come from, and you never know how long you're going to have them. So you should cherish them. And so that's kind of the message of the video that we wanted to make in relation to her death. But I wanted it to be where I could actually talk about it without getting like this. And I actually thought I could, and it was still hard this time.
Yeah, but so that message is definitely in our channel already, because I can't even tell you how many times, but I know I have said it, that at the end of the day, we're not going to care about so many aspects of our finances and stuff like that. So we get a lot of questions about the debt and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you just don't have time to worry about just like everything. Don't let it all go. But the things that matter are you spending time with your loved ones. And that's the stuff that you'll always want more of and can never get enough of. Realistically, at the end of our lives, that's the stuff that matters. If we paid off our credit cards as fast as we possibly could, that is not even going to be in the calculus of what we wish we had done differently.
Yeah, completely agree. Everyone, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We love all of your kind and supportive comments. It really makes our day. And when we get emails from you that tell us how our videos have changed your lives, it just makes it all worth doing.
And now that we have both made everybody cry.
Yeah. All right, let's end this on a happy note. So if you
I have a question, completely different.
Okay, go.
What is your best Christmas present ever?
The best Christmas present I've ever received?
Never.
Oh, so it's always two. Like right now I have two. One is from Joseph and one was from my dad. So the one from Joseph was, I think it was Christmas 2013. 2012? No, 2013. Joseph bought me a Canon T5i. It was my first ever DSLR. And that is when I started taking pictures, and he knew that I wanted to start a blog. So he got me that camera and I started getting into photography, and I love photography, not to photograph people and be a photographer, but to capture our lives and also, I guess, make beautiful photos for our Instagram and our blog, onebighappylife.com. But it is also the camera where I shot my very first YouTube video, which was me doing my big chop back in 2014 when I went natural. And by the way, I'm not natural anymore. I am relaxed.
Oh, somebody asked about the curly hair.
So I am relaxed. That is why you never see my curly hair. And I'm going to make a video about why I decided to go back to being relaxed. But yeah, so that's my first best gift. And then my second best gift, or tied for first, my dad bought me a PlayStation 1 when I was, 14, maybe 15, and Final Fantasy 7. And Final Fantasy 7 is still the best game that I have ever played in my life in terms of just being immersive and the story being amazing. I just absolutely love that game. And I still love video games. Horizon Zero Dawn is very good. But I had a very tumultuous teenagehood, especially because my parents kind of broke up around that time. And so it was nice to have this sort of perfect idyllic Christmas where I got exactly what I wanted. And that it came from my dad, who, my mom probably told him to get it. I don't even know. But it seemed like he wrapped it himself because it was still in the store bag. So it was a PlayStation box in a store bag wrapped in crappy wrapping paper. And so it really felt like for the first time my dad had done something on his own just for me. And so those are my two best Christmas presents. Yes, the music is iconic. Absolutely. Final Fantasy 7. It was the best.
I don't know. I can't.
Letters from Joe. You know what?
She just didn't even think about that.
I didn't think the letters from Joseph are really precious. And, if he dies before me, those are probably the things that I'm going to sit back and cherish the most, not my Canon T5i, which will be long gone. But I do have all of the letters from Joseph.
I'm probably going to have to go with my Daisy Red Ryder BB gun.
I've never even heard of this. What is this? Hi, Bernice. Merry Christmas.
So it's from that movie and also real life. That was my first BB gun.
Who gave that to you?
My dad.
Oh, he's never told me about this. This is not. I've heard stories about him hunting and stuff on his granddad's farm, coyotes and snakes and things, birds. But he's never mentioned this BB gun to me. Wait a minute. Oh, Christmas gift. So I've never gotten you a memorable Christmas gift?
So I'm bad at remembering things on the spot, trying to. But that's the first.
My heart hurts now. See,
She says I'm really hard to buy Christmas presents for.
And he's like, you can buy me the tiny things on my list and I'll love it.
But she doesn't.
But they don't end up being his favorite thing, do they?
See, but that's Christmas. So my favorite gift ever
now.
That's how it works, right?
Oh my gosh.
The watch that you got me is my favorite gift overall.
Really?
But it wasn't for Christmas.
Yeah, it was just because.
Yeah, it's like, so whenever she moved up to Philadelphia, I had to stay with the house for a couple more weeks and try to wrap things up. And then when I finally made it to Philadelphia, she picked me up from the airport and they gave me this little box. I'm like, what? I didn't get you anything. Uh-oh. And I opened it up and it was this watch that I had just been coveting, and it was like my dream watch, and it is still like everything that a watch could possibly ever be to me. So
what is it? It's a Citizen Grand Complication with a repeater or something. What the
Citizen Grand Complication, and so it has a minute repeater, and so if you don't know what that is, it chimes. So you hold the button down, and then it'll ding, telling you what the time is.
This is a Red Hot Chili Pepper shirt. And so that watch, I saved my fund monies for a whole year so that I could buy him that watch. It just happened to coincide with our move to Philadelphia. So I'm glad that he says that was special, because I don't think I've ever saved harder or longer for anything except for retirement and college for the kids. So do we plan to make more babies? Yes. We are... So we've always had difficulty conceiving. It took us 3 years to conceive Reeves, and we had one miscarriage during that 3 years, and we talked about that before on the channel. So it's been almost another 3 years since we had Reeves. Now, we weren't trying to conceive, of course, right away after having Reeves, but we are making insurance moves so that if we need to pursue infertility treatments next year, then we will, because next year I turn 37. And so the longer we wait, the more likely it is that, it's
going to be more and more invasive stuff.
Right. So. Not that. So whenever because someone else asked about this, our infertility is unexplained. If anything, to being perfectly honest, because we're just going to be real with you guys, there's a slight male factor. Slight male factor. Not recently. So we're doing testing right now, and recently that has gone away. So we're kind of cautiously optimistic about that. But we're still waiting on my test to come back. Now, they've always been fine, so I'm anticipating they're going to continue to be fine.
So this is what I think
happened.
A few years. So there has been a study done that where they made mice wear different types of underwear, and they found out that the synthetic underwear on the mice caused them to be less fertile, like the males.
Who put underwear on mice? That's so funny. Like, this is my job right now.
And so they're thinking that the static from the synthetic clothing that we're wearing is actually affecting male fertility. And so they're studying that. And so I stopped wearing synthetic underwear. Bam, I'm fine. So there's anecdotal evidence that this is true.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, we will go into more detail as we start, getting deeper into it, especially if we go beyond just regular what you normally do to try to get pregnant. But so last question, what are our favorite YouTube channels? Who do we follow? Correlation, not causation, Joseph.
She knows. Oh, okay. That's why I said anecdotal evidence. She knows.
Okay. No twins, Bella. We don't want twins. One baby. Reeves was 10 pounds, 3 ounces. I can't do 2 of those in here.
Well, they'd be small.
So YouTubers we follow, we watch completely different things. So let's see. So I like Amy Schmidt. Is it Amy Landino now? Amy Landino. It was Savvy Sexy Social. And so I've been following her for years and years and years. Haley Page, they're now Hello Johnson Family. I like them. I like Love Meg, Marriage and Motherhood. Who else do we watch? The Financial Diet, of course. We've been Budget Girl. Who else do we follow? Well, who do I follow? Because we're very different.
It depends.
Just look at my feed. I don't even need to. So you go.
Yeah,
who are you? Some of your people.
So I watch Linus Tech Tips, and then he has several channels in his Linus Media Group empire. And so I don't really watch channels Super Fun because I don't think that one is super fun. But Tech Quickie.
Peter McKinnon. Joseph watches Peter McKinnon.
Yeah, I end up watching a lot more technical, like camera gear and those kind of DSLR video shooter.
Let's see, Julia Trotty. I watch her because I like her photography. Jackie Ina, she is hilarious, and I watch her for makeup idea. Not that I switch up my makeup, but she's always trying new products, and her skin color is close to mine. And I think we suffer from some of the same issues in that she's darker around her mouth and her eyes. So she has to deal with the same sorts of makeup issues that I do. What are you doing?
Show me switch over.
No, let me finish mine first.
You can't just. You already said like 50 people.
Wait.
She follows
Lavendare,
so many
I
people.
do. Lavendare, Hey Nadine, who travels, Mike and Lauren, who are kind of intermittent, somewhat early retirees, but also always trying out new businesses. They're fun. Becca Bristow, Jordan Page, Fun, Cheap, or Free, Glue Guns and Roses. Subscribe to her.
I haven't seen her comment. She might have left.
Yeah. Let's see. Roberto Blake. Ann Lee. Who else do we have? At Home with Nikki. She does amazing home organization and stuff. Thrift Diving does great DIY furniture redos. Mr. Kate for interior decorating. I watch a wide variety of people. Corey Rametta does hardcore woodworking.
It's probably the last question.
Okay. So that's Rachel Talbot. I found
her for Tasha. I knew that she'd love it.
Yeah, I love Rachel Talbot too. And there are other people too, but those are Alexis being Alexis because we love her and she's our child. Marie Forleo, super inspirational.
Oh, that reminds me. So Alexis edited her first video by herself, completely by herself. Nobody even reviewed it. So that's up on her channel, being Alexis right now.
Yeah, we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and so I also watch a whole bunch of different financial YouTubers, tons of the people that we met at FinCon, and so we keep up with just a lot. But okay, so we've run for about an hour now.
Yes, when it was supposed to be 30 minutes, but there were technical difficulties.
Well, I added that in.
So okay, all right. So
thanks so much for joining us, everybody.
This was Vlogmas number 6. So we are trying to do this 31 videos in 31 days. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in, hanging out with us, crying with us, bonding with us, and we will see you guys. Wait, what?
One last quick question about what we're using to stream.
Oh my gosh, it's a Logitech C960, I think, or C920. It is a $60 or $70 webcam.
Yeah.
It's what we've always used.
Yeah.
Super inexpensive.
We're working on the capability of streaming with one of our much better cameras, but right now it does a great job. It is like $50-$60 on sale.
Oh, financial YouTube that we recommend us. No, there are lots of great people out there that give great advice. So I would say watch as many of them as you are able to, because everyone has a different perspective. And
some people you'll find entertaining, and some people you won't. And so it's hard, but there are quite a few good ones.
Okay, no more questions. Okay. We're going to go. Otherwise, we'll stay here all night chatting with you guys. Bye.